Next, I want to talk about what I think are probably the most important things you should do right away. So, the first thing I would suggest is to set up your voicemail on your phone, and Jesse at the front desk has the directions for this. It's a printed sheet, and it'll take you through step by step to how to set up your voice message system, how to set up a password if you want to put a password on it. And I would definitely suggest setting it up so that your voicemail messages come into your email. That's what all of us in the department do, and it's definitely the best way to keep up with how many voicemails you get. So just make sure you get that set up pretty quickly. The next thing is to request access to a long list of things, and I'll go through them quickly so you know kind of what they are, what they do. You'll learn a lot more about this as you start to use these things, but for now, here's my quick list of them. The first is called ePro, and this is how you'll make payments for things like if you have to purchase business cards, for example. You have to go through a system called ePro, so make sure you get your username and password for ePro. Talk to Paulette about this, she can help you out. Next, request access to VIN. What VIN does is let you access your office desktop computer from home. And this is great on your work from home days on Fridays. And so I think you have to go through IT services. I think the person I contacted, his name was Chris Dow, D-O-W. Check with him and he can help you set up your VIN. Next is the iDrive. I'm not sure if you are automatically granted access to the iDrive or not, but just in case, make sure you get it, because this is extremely important. You will use this on a daily basis. The iDrive is basically a drive on the computer the computer network actually, that allows you to access mutual files. So multiple people can access the files at the same time, and we store everything for our honors program on the iDrive. So student records, files, documents that have things like brochures or flyers, everything is on the iDrive. So definitely make sure that you can access it. And we have a lot of files on our iDrive. It's almost overwhelming when you first see all the stuff within the honors program file. So take some time and just acquaint yourself with where things are, because even after a year of being there, I still had a hard time finding stuff sometimes. So just make sure you ask Dr. Davis. If you don't know where something is, she can help you locate it in the iDrive. Next is Banner. And you can do a lot of things in Banner, but what we mainly use Banner for is to override students to get into honors classes. And just for now, before I actually show you what that looks like, I'll explain what it is really quickly. All of the honors students, when they go to register for an honors class, it will show up as closed, which means they can't get into it. And so what we have to do is grant them approval to join the class, and we do that through an override. And to make those overrides, we go through Banner. Next is KSU Connect. This is probably on its way out, and I doubt you'll use it too much. But if you ever have to make an AGS request, you would use KSU Connect. And the reason I say it's probably phasing out is because ePro, that first thing, has recently replaced AGS for most payment services on campus. So you might run across it once or twice, but you'll probably need to get ePro access before you need to be worried about KSU Connect. Finally, definitely contact Nicole Densmore, who is going to be able to grant you a P card. P card is short for purchasing card, if you are familiar. And basically, we use P cards if you have to make a really urgent purchase. So let's say, for example, that Dr. Davis decides to have her honors council meeting. She invites all of her, all of her faculty members, all of the students, and then she decides that she wants to have lunch for them. Well, she didn't really anticipate, it being at lunchtime, but now it is, and so she wants to be generous and give them a nice lunch. But we didn't pay for that through anything yet. So what we would do is put it on a P card. And this is just like a normal debit card, credit card. And there's a lot of tutorials to understand how you're allowed to use it, making sure you're not violating any rules or anything like that. But basically, just get a P card, so in case you have some kind of unexpected purchase you need to make, like the lunch, for example, you can do that right away. These last three things I would list as the most urgent of all the things you should expect to get access for quickly. The first is Dr. Davis's email inbox. So you will quickly learn that Dr. Davis has more email than she can possibly handle, and one of the best ways that you can help her through that situation is by having access to her inbox. And so what she has to do is share the inbox with you. You will accept the share, and then you'll be able to view your inbox and her inbox simultaneously. And what will happen is that you'll get a lot of student emails, and she won't have a chance to reply to them or even read them. So what you can do is read the emails for her and then respond to the students if you know the answers. And sometimes what you can even do, if you really want to, is take that email and drag it into your own inbox so that you can answer the question and she doesn't even have to worry about it. It's not even going to be on her radar. The next thing is Dr. Davis's calendar. Dr. Davis sets up a lot of appointments throughout the year. Sometimes they're just sporadic as a student needs to discuss something, or perhaps it's midterm conference advising like it is in March or October, and so we need to make sure that every single appointment is on that calendar. She keeps track of two different calendars. One is electronic and one is written out. So you got to make sure that you're going to mostly focus on the electronic one, but if you want to double check the electronic one with her written one, that's a good idea. So with the electronic calendar, you'll be able to add to it. You can schedule appointments, and you can delete the appointments that you make. But if there's a change that needs to be made to appointments that she scheduled, you can't do that from your email. You'll need to request that she gives you the password to her email so you can go in and delete the ones that she scheduled. Finally, Dr. Davis has a long, really thorough list that we just updated of every single student in the program and their email address. And we currently have it saved under your address books in Zimbra, and it's called Current Honors Students. And this is something really useful to have access to because there's going to be a lot of times throughout the semester that she's going to want you to send a mass message to everybody in the program. So definitely request to have access to this list. It's a simple share, and you just have to accept the share, and then you'll have access to all those emails. The next thing I would suggest possibly getting to work on is going into Zimbra, your email system, and setting up email folders. Again, we have a lot of emails coming to us. You might not have quite as many as Dr. Davis, but you will still have a lot, and the best way to handle it is to set up a lot of folders. Here's the list of folders that I actually used. You can tweak this, add some, delete some, but this is just a good outline perhaps to work off of. I don't think any of them are too difficult to understand. Maybe the one that doesn't make a lot of sense right now is surveys, and surveys is basically just once a year or so, Dr. Davis sends out an anonymous survey to everybody in the honors program critiquing the program and all the students' advisors, and those emails are sent to you directly. And so I kept them all in a surveys folder, and then I printed them off when they were needed for an annual assessment later on. The rest of that stuff we will probably discuss as we go through the videos.